What's up, JT family, and welcome back to part 2 of the I Am a Brand online development session. I'm really looking forward to spending this time with you as we delve deeper into the personal brand development space. If you weren't part of the live session on the 24th of July, I want to encourage you to go and look up I Am a Brand Part 1. This is a recording of the session and it will explain to you exactly what we aim to achieve with the I Am a Brand development session. I also want to remind you that we are running a competition for the individual that is most active in developing their personal brand throughout this workshop. So I want to encourage you to get involved in the activities. Get out of your comfort zone. We are definitely going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. And that will allow you to stand a chance to win magnificent prizes. We've got some merchandise on the line, as well as a grand prize of roughly 1,300 Rand, which is called the Strength Finder Assessment. This prize will allow you to do a world-class assessment, as well as receive a one-on-one coaching session with one of Roar's consultants. Now, to recap. In part 1, we discussed the areas that one needs to look at when developing a brand, and in this case, a personal brand. The first area is we need to ask ourselves the 3 fundamental questions. What is the brand going to do? Who do you want to be as a brand? And how do you want to be perceived as a brand? As mentioned earlier, the what question is more or less the easiest question to answer in this process. But what we want to get to is the who. Who do you want to be as a brand? And ultimately that will influence how people perceive your brand. The second area we're going to be looking at is that brands create experiences. You are currently creating experiences for people as a brand. Ask yourself, are those experiences positive or negative? Or sort of maybe in between? Well, some of the most successful brands in the world are super focused in developing positive brand experiences. And if you can get your brand to the place where it consistently delivers positive brand experiences, your brand is well on its way to success. So just to quickly recap, the 3 areas where you can create positive brand experiences is through senses. It's important to look after yourself, to dress well. As an example, if I sat before you today and I was dirty, torn clothes, your perception of me and your perception of what I know would be compromised. So your senses is already creating a perception of who I am. Secondly, your brand can create experiences through emotions. 73% of people fall in love with the brand because that brand makes them feel a certain way. We cannot negate the fact that emotion plays a big role in society. Emotion plays a big role in how we perceive other people. So I want to encourage you, create positive emotions and you will have positive results. Lastly, brands create an experience through the value that they add. But in order to get to that place where you start developing this brand, and a lot of people ask me, Fadi, how do I start? Well, I really believe that one needs a deep-rooted understanding of the value that you can add. And our goal in this I Am a Brand process is that you start understanding and have clarity with regards to the value that you can add as a brand. Just as an example, when you look at me, what you see is my logo. But if I had to ask you, am I more than just what you see? Of course. To do that, one needs to go look on the inside of the individual. Take, for example, you're driving in your car and suddenly you start smelling the rich aroma of KFC chicken. Your nose automatically follows the smell and you reach the KFC restaurant. You go and stand outside the restaurant and you look at this restaurant and you say, wow, KFC. My question is, have you experienced KFC? No, because you have to go inside. You have to go inside and taste the chicken. And it's the same with us. We can dress all smartly, look all sharp, but if we don't allow people into our lives, to experience what is on the inside, they don't get a full picture of our brand. And in order to do that, we need to understand what is on the inside. What value is on the inside that you can add to their lives? Are you ready for this journey? Well, I am. So now that we've discussed emotions, value add, senses, etc., let's do a practical exercise. Please open up the link in the description. What I'm going to ask you to do is, we will be showing you current brands in the world. After watching this 1-minute clip, I want you to pause the video, quickly go onto the link and answer the questions pertaining that particular brand. Once you have done that, please continue to the next one. After completing all 5 videos and answering the questions in the link, we will continue with this video. And I want to ask you to be as honest as possible, especially when it comes to how these particular brands make you feel like. Right, we are back. I hope you enjoyed those video clips and I hope they sort of inspired you in a way. I want to quickly run through these particular brands and just point out a couple of things that make these brands truly unique and very successful. The first brand we looked at was the one and only McDonald's. Now, McDonald's is the most successful restaurant business in history. Up to date, they have approximately 36,000 outlets worldwide. They sell 4,500 burgers every minute of every day. The business was started in the 1950s by two brothers that had a passion for cooking. And later on, the business was franchised by a man called Ray Kroc. And today, you can find a McDonald's on every street corner all across the globe. Just think about it quickly. How does McDonald's make you feel? Think about the senses once you walk into one of those shops. It's colorful, it's playful, it feels like an experience already, just going there. They provide you with quick service and mostly healthy food, and more often than not, you are greeted by someone very friendly, and that also adds value in terms of the experience that you have at McDonald's. So I would say that McDonald's is a fairly successful brand because of the experiences that it creates. The next brand we looked at was Mercedes. Now, Mercedes is 100 years old, and for the last 100 years, this brand has consistently delivered on the promises that it makes. Because yes, a brand makes promises. Your brand will be making and is currently making promises. One day you will be sitting in an interview room, maybe for a job or maybe even for an academic purpose, and you will be making promises. It is in your hands to keep those promises, because ultimately if you don't keep the promises, the longevity of your brand might be impacted and the experience that you create might be a negative one. So I want to encourage you to make sure that when you make a promise, deliver on that promise, because it has an impact on your brand. The third brand we looked at was Nike. Now, I love Nike. I like the brand, I like the logo, I like everything about this brand. When you put on a shirt, you feel fit, you feel faster, it feels like you've already trained. One thing that Nike does really well is they co-brand with other brands. This means that they associate or align themselves with another brand, and that brand makes you and I think about Nike. So if I had to say Tiger Woods, you would think Nike. If I say Serena Williams, you think Nike. And that's exactly what we do on a day-to-day basis as brands as well. We align, we co-brand with other brands. So it's very important that when you co-brand, when you allow a friend into your life, that brand has a positive impact on your brand and vice versa. So make sure that the brands you co-brand with add value to your brand. The fourth brand was the one and only Apple. Now, Apple is the #1 brand currently in the world. It has a market cap value of $2 trillion. Now, to just put that into perspective, South Africa has a GDP of 4 trillion rand. Apple has a market cap value of $2 trillion, which sort of equates to 28 to 30 trillion rand. Now, what does that mean? Our brands can become really influential brands. And that's what I want to encourage you to do, is to not just build a successful brand, but to build a significant brand, because the world needs significant brands. The last brand was the one and only, the promised land, the land of milk and honey, the land of endless possibilities, the land of endless opportunities, South Africa. A lot of people ask me, Fadi, what are your thoughts about South Africa, the future of it? And how can we make a difference in our country? And I always say to them, you know what? There's a saying that a man called Jordan Peterson shared. He said, if you want to change the world, don't try and change the world. Change yourself. And I really took that to heart, and I want to encourage you with that. If we want to make South Africa the best brand in the world, because it is a brand, it is competing with other countries, other brands. If we want to make South Africa the most successful brand out there, You and I must become the most successful brands that we can be. So it puts responsibility on us as individuals, not to point the finger at others, not to tell people to change if we are not willing to change. So I want to encourage you to come on this journey with me, to build your brand, to be the most successful brand that it can be. That concludes part 2 of the I Am a Brand development session. In part 3, we will be discussing the brand equation, where we will be giving you an equation that you can use to develop your personal brand. It's going to be practical, and at the end of that, I'm going to ask you to get out of your comfort zone and tell the world about your brand. I'm looking forward to the session. Remember, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Keep roaring.